I'm joined by two fashion designers, and you'd be well known in terms of, you'd be well versed in matters fashion, and that's Deepa Dosaja and Sheena Frida. Thank you for joining us this morning. And well, you certainly would know a lot about royal fashion. Now that you had a chance to display your fashion, apparel in Buckingham Palace, and we'll get to that. But let's first of all, from that story, why is it such a big thing what she wears? I'll start with you, Frida.
I think it's a massive thing, and it's a great new era for fashion. And I would say with the royal family coming into the fashion industry, it builds a whole generation and business and angles in terms of fashion. So I do believe that it is groundbreaking in terms of what they're wearing being embraced by the fashion industry.
All right. Sheena?
Deepa.
Oh, sorry.
Deepa Sheena.
Deepa Sheena. I beg your pardon.
That's fine. So I feel the younger generation of the royals have really shown their style, and they've come out and they've explored different designers, and they're both very stylish women, Kate Middleton and now Meghan Markle. I think they're just style icons, so people do look up to them, and whoever gets to dress Meghan, whichever designer does,
that would be a shift in their business as well.
Absolutely, they'll become the most famous.
Do you have any ideas or maybe predictions of what is likely to be different on her dress as opposed to her the previous one?
As opposed to Kate's? I feel that she might be a little bit more daring.
You think so?
Yeah.
By virtue of the fact that she's an actor, or just maybe her nature?
Her nature.
Her nature,
Yeah.
and as well, I agree with Deepa. The royals, the younger royals, have come from a very different angle in terms of embracing youth, culture, and basically the global trend at the moment. So most definitely, I feel they will come with a very strong statement, something very different.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, the royals are normally known to be very conservative and very kind of held back, and everything very stylish. Do you think that is likely to change soon?
I believe so.
I mean, Diana did push the envelope when it came to her way of doing things, including her way of, wearing.
Yeah.
But do you think maybe the younger royals are likely to do that?
I think so, if they're bold enough, which I think Meghan Markle is. And I see that Kate Middleton, when we met her last month at Buckingham Palace, she was wearing a beautiful fitted dress. Being 6 months pregnant, she looked gorgeous, stunning.
Wow.
And this is something that you would never have seen before. A pregnant royal wearing a fitted dress. And she just,
and she looked amazing.
She was breathtaking.
Now, let's get to that, because that's also something that we need to make very clear. First of all, you're Kenyan designers. How did you manage to get to Buckingham Palace and, meet the royals and even display your fashion wear?
I will actually start with Deepa, as she's the Kenyan designer and I'm the fashion industry representative.
Okay.
So we'll start with Deepa.
So it was the oddest thing. In October, we got an email saying, will you represent Kenya at the Fashion Exchange, Commonwealth Fashion Exchange reception at Buckingham Palace?
Right.
And obviously I thought, yeah, right. This is something.
It's like one of those SMSs you get and you've won 100,000 shillings. You just,
exactly. It's like, exactly. So I was like, sure, okay.
Yeah.
Made the phone call to the people, and it was EcoAge, which are the most amazing company ever. I mean, they're working with ethical fashion, sustainable fashion. They've introduced me to the green carpet principles, which are amazing, on how to produce sustainable, ethical, beautiful fashion. And so we were invited to represent Kenya, because they had invited artisans and designers from the Commonwealth countries. So I believe we were 22 designers and 30 artisans.
Yes.
So I was working with an artisan in Zambia who's just absolutely amazing. And we worked with artisan fashion in Kenya who were fabulous. So they made elements of the dress. And this dress was made from Kenyan silk.
Wow. So we do have models who would like to basically just see what you displayed, and maybe you can run us through. If I can just ask the models to come in. We have Winnie and Faith. And tell us a little bit about their
So Winnie is wearing a coat which is from the new collection, which we're calling Buckingham Palace collection. These flowers are upcycled. They've been in my studio for 25 years. They were tiny, tiny pieces of leather, which we didn't want to throw away. And we've made them into these, our signature flowers. The fabric is hand-woven silk by a women's group.
And all this is Kenyan designed and made?
Right.
This is Kenyan designed, but the fabric is not Kenyan. Because it was through this project that I discovered in Kenya we do have the most stunning silk, which is my next dress. This is Kenyan silk.
Oh, this is Kenyan silk.
And this is 100% made in Kenya, to the point where we also used a patch lining. Inside the dress, we used patches of old fabric that we had, and this is the way my company wants to go forward. We've always been an ethical fashion company, but now I feel with the support of EcoAge and the Commonwealth Fashion Council that we can really be supported in this.
All right, Sheena, this must be good news for the fashion industry in Kenya.
Most definitely, most definitely. It's amazing news. It's never happened in the history of our fashion industry. And what we really loved was this partnership between EcoAge and the Commonwealth Fashion Council. So that's where I come in. And I loved how they approached it. So they had two ends of fashion, not just the face value, but also the business value, the economic development and the back end. So you had the artisans and the designers, and you had industry representatives. It was quite an honor that the royal family was able to embrace, you know, and embrace Africa as a whole. And it was very humbling, you know, just having an opportunity to meet people such as Dame Anna Wintour, Naomi Campbell, having enough time to engage and learn from them, which is, you know, just but a few, creating an exciting era for designers such as Deepa, as we're now on the verge of forming a national fashion council for Kenya, which is quite amazing.
And Deepa, what do you think is the impact that that has now on our local industry? The fact that you are displaying on, I mean, this is as good as it gets with the best designers in the world. You had that chance. What impact does that have on our fashion industry?
Well, I think now, us as Kenyan designers, we can believe that it's possible, but because before we had no international exposure, right? And probably just felt, oh, you know, we'll always be in Kenya, we'll always be designing only in Kenya. Now I think young designers can aspire and know that we are being recognized worldwide. We can create the quality which is international, you know, internationally acceptable.
Yes.
And I think that this is like a great thing for all designers in Kenya to know that we are international, we are being accepted internationally, and there is international interest in Kenya fashion. But we just have to, you know, make it excellent.
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah, Sheena, with designs now from Kenya, what is it that distinguishes, and we can say this is a Kenyan design? You know, we've seen, for instance, there's a time, I think there was a campaign to try and get a Kenyan local dress, national dress, which didn't quite work. But what is it that would be distinctly different, and we can say this is a Kenyan design?
I think that's pretty interesting, because I think one of the advantages we have as the Kenyan fashion industry is that we're very diverse. However, you're very right. This is one of the angles that comes through this. As the world is now looking at Kenya, it's time to come together and create one voice for our fashion industry, both on face value and in terms of business development. And I think that's where it's very important to now form this council that we're talking about through the Commonwealth Fashion and through platforms such as this. Yes.
And do you think Kenyans are very fashion conscious?
Absolutely.
They are?
Absolutely, we're super fashion conscious and super chic. So we need to get out there into the world and show that we have all this beauty and all. I think one of the advantages we have in Kenya is that we have beautiful artisans, hand-stitch artisans. So I think designers have to take advantage of that, you know, and it's creating employment. Absolutely, Kenyans.
And what do you think are what are some of the challenges that you possibly have gone through that you think would probably improve your, you know, your ability to deliver more if they were sorted out locally?
Well, through the Fashion Council, I'm hoping that there's going to be education.
Right.
For designers, for cutters, for drapers. You know, we need, our young designers need education. And thus far, I believe that mentoring and working in companies is giving them the education, but I wish that there was schools and places where they could go and get trained. They're talking about having libraries of books, very important, you know, drafting books, draping books, design books, you know, so the young designers have access to the magazines, and that's why I'm very excited about the council.
All right, and Sheena, do you think that fashion is something that is inborn, or is it something that you learn? I mean, it's very artistic. You need to have something. It's like you need a sixth sense.
Well, quite interesting. Well, I think the stories are different, but I believe for some it's just inherent. For some it's what you learn. For some it's a partnership of inherent and what they learn. I think it's a combination
of
really most of the time. But I think that's really quite interesting, and that's why, like Dipa said, mentorship is very important, because once you go into the industry and you have a mentor, you start to realize it's not just the runways, it's not just the photo shoots. There's a whole other angle to fashion. There's a whole, now the skill and the experience part of it. Apart from having the creativity as inherent, you have to sustain that creativity, and you have to develop from that creativity as a resource.
Okay.
Yes.
Deepa, as we wind up, maybe words of advice to potential fashion designers out there, maybe young ones who are upcoming and would love to do that and possibly don't know where to start?
Well, my first and biggest piece of advice is do internships. Find yourself a mentor. Be willing to go down and get dirty making patterns. Learn everything about the industry. And the other thing is that, which I find is lacking, is business knowledge. It's okay, and I keep saying this, it's okay to be this great designer, have a room full of beautiful clothes, but if you can't sell them, you just have a room full of beautiful clothes, you know, so.
Yeah, your parting shots, Sheena?
Parting shots is Kenyan fashion is now on the global map. For the first time, the international community is looking into us and into Kenya and into Africa, and people are interested. And there's a whole revolution happening in the fashion industry. So my parting shot is it's time for those amazing skills to come together and benefit from this, both creatively and financially.
Are we likely to see your clothes maybe in the royal wedding?
Well, hopefully we'll try and contact all those people we met.
You never know.
Well, fingers crossed. We'll see
the
guests, and hopefully you'll be there as well, and you'll give us feedback. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
And well, that's where we wind up this particular segment of the show. But do stay with us right here on Morning Express. I would like to look at what's been happening in the entertainment world and possibly what to look out for coming up in just a bit.